always knew I had something. I could feel them walking around watching me. I'm like, what are you looking at? How can I go to Zen? Where is Zen? How do I achieve Zen?
And I appreciate the fact that you and I have, I don't know, can we call each other friendship?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Everyone, look who I have. I have Linda G back. Thank you so much for being here.
Psycho.
Yeah, and Psycho. Yeah, I always laughed every time I heard that when you said Comanche Psycho. I was like, yep, I can relate to that.
Yep. Thank you.
So everybody here, so what I'm doing today is I'm doing my interview questions for Linda. I'm so excited. And if you guys have been watching me and following me on my channel, you can see I have had several readers come on to my channel and answer a few interview questions. So I am going to do that with Linda. Before we do that, is there anything new going on, Linda? It's not like anybody that watches me is not watching you, but just in case there's that one person out there that doesn't know you. Yeah, what have you been doing on your channel? Let's get a little bit of an update.
It's crazy, girlfriend. I finally got SteamYard, and I had one person complain they didn't like it. You know, those banners and all that stuff. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. It's my very first time. So today I'm doing another one with Andre Astrology Alert, and I'll try with him too, but we won't do the banners.
Well, text me if you have any questions. I come a little, I can honestly say I've gotten a little pro at it, but yeah. So text me if you have any questions.
You did say, because I'm supposed to call somebody that says they know how to do it, to mute, to second it, to get it to slow mode.
If they can get that, let me know, because I haven't figured that out either.
Because you've been doing it and a lot of other people, and nobody figured it out. And like you said, I think you have to do it through YouTube, but I don't know how. So anyway.
Yeah. I think that was the only thing that I did. So I know that you've been doing a lot of collaborations. I watched you yesterday with Kirsten. Yeah. I hopefully
Kirsten, her and I finally did something.
Yeah, I have an email out there. I'm pretty sure she'll answer me soon, but her and I also have a date in the future.
Yeah, she's fun to be around.
She really is. All right. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get into the questions. Thank you for that. So the number one, the first question that I have up is, what journey have you taken to end up in the metaphysical life?
Well, I was always in it. But what journey? Well, hell of a journey is what happened. I saw Jesus when I was 8 years old. My parents were atheists. And I always knew I had something. I could feel them walking around watching me. I'm like, what are you looking at? And when I was a kid, I felt, I could feel them watching me. I swear to God, it was weird. But as I got older, and then I went through breast cancer, the breast cancer was the turning point, because I thought I was going to lose my life. And it definitely took me out of my own ego and made me more woke, so to speak.
Right. And you're talking about the spirits, right? You're talking about you having
my guides. Yeah.
Your guides and spirits that are around you. Exactly. And the journey. So you've always been in the lifestyle of metaphysical journey. You've always been there.
Well, yeah. And I used to just read cards for fun and play with it. And then I'd be right, and everybody wanted a reading, Nothing like being right makes everybody want you to read their cards. People love a good card reader every once in a while. But I never took it serious. I never thought my journey would be about that. But when I was begging for my life, and that particular man that talks to me said, Linda, what are you doing? There's no such thing as death. Kind of like scolding me. I felt really overwhelmed and embarrassed, and I handed my life over. I said, into your hands, I commence my spirit. And that's when I got woke.
Yep.
That's when the language got real clear. That's when he said, you're going to do a YouTube channel. I'm like, what? Why? No. He said, you'll help calm people down.
I'm incredibly grateful that you received that message.
Yeah, it was just as clear as day. But Kirsten was already on. She was, and I never thought that would be for me. Excuse me, makeup. So I never thought that was for me.
Right. I get that. So question number 2 is, do you have a mentor or a favorite teacher that you go back to a lot?
Yep, Eckhart Tolle. He's my mentor. He makes me, sometimes when I used to listen to him, when I was leaving Palo Alto, going through San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge, at that time I was living in Marin. So it was a good hour drive, if it was traffic, it's 2-3 hours. And I remember listening to Eckhart Tolle, and the inside of the console was like lit. It had a slight soft light, because I was so high as a kite just listening to his words. And I still listen to his books on audio. And it's almost like I never read it in the first place. My first love was when I was in nursing school, where I kind of really like, I like this, what I need more, was Ruth Montgomery and Edgar Casey. A River Runs Through It. And there's a book called The Door to Everything, and another book called Ye Are Gods by Annalise Scarron. And those were pretty heavy, and it really got me going. But I didn't understand about being in the present like Eckhart taught me. I knew a lot of stuff, but by the time I got to Eckhart Tolle, that's when I became present. That's when the magic occurs. That's when your connection to the source is really, because if you can just stop worrying about the past or the future, blah, 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 it's like it's like once you let go of that, it just sort of flows. It's almost like you're standing in the omnipresent realm. Like we all are gods, as Annalise Scarron will say, ye are gods. We all have a little piece of it in us. And, so funny, how people just need to have something to idolize. Trump or whatever. There's wonderful people that follow me, and I don't want them to look at me like I'm the answer for everything, because I'm not. Each person has a beautiful, wonderful realm. And if they're even following us, girlfriend, they are curious. They want to know, so it's just anything I can do. That's my purpose now. I'm actually serving a purpose. I was a good nurse, but it's nothing compared to this, because I'm nursing the soul.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
For sure. And didn't Eckhart Tolle, he did The Untethered Soul, is that correct?
I don't know. I haven't
heard the one.
That. He did The New Earth, The Power of Now.
Yeah, because I've listened to a few of them, but I thought he did The Untethered Soul. Let's look that up. Did he?
I don't know.
Okay.
Here we go. Untethered Soul. Written by Michael Singer. That is not
Michael Singer. Okay. I'm getting them all confused.
It's like, what? Did I miss a book? What the heck?
I have a few of his also his audio books that I listen to when I'm driving. For some reason I got confused. I thought he did do The Untethered Soul, but that was been my favorite, is The Untethered Soul.
What does he talk about? Same thing like Eckhart?
He talks a lot about Eckhart, he talks a lot about being in the present, right? Being right here, right now. There's no other time. And he really gets you right here, right now. And The Untethered Soul for me was how we remove ourselves from everybody's idea of who they think we are, and untether yourself from all ideas of other people, and remember that you are you. They cannot judge you correctly, because they do not know the infinite information that your soul knows. Mm-hmm. And so once I got that, all of my being at work, all of my annual, what do they call it, assessments of who you are? Yeah. They all meant nothing to me. I was like, you don't know enough about me to have that much judgment or knowledge thereof, right? Exactly. And that was The Untethered Soul, which was really cool. So it kind of buddied up against with Eckhart, Billy. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know who else does a good book is Wayne Dyer.
Oh, yes. He's one of my favorites too.
You change the way you look at things, he actually goes into the Tao, which is what Eckhart Tolle taps into, which is being in the present. And there's two Zen masters that were walking along a path. One was just a learning, and the other, the one kid told the master, you know, how can I go to Zen? Where is Zen? How do I achieve Zen?
Mm-hmm.
And the master said, you hear that brook? You hear that stream? And he's listening. He said, no. He said, listen carefully. So he really listened and he heard it. He says, I hear it. He goes, that there is Zen.
Yes.
It's being in that quiet zone, not just connected to universal consciousness. That's where it rocks. I cannot emphasize that. Until I die, I'll be saying that's where it rocks, right in that collective consciousness of well-being. We still go through crap. We still have a lot of drama we have to go through. But trust me, it's all for a reason, and it's all because we collectively are getting higher and higher and higher as human beings.
Completely agree. I remember somebody teaching me that. She says, Sheila, if you're in the future, if you're in the past, you cannot hear the message you need right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, go ahead.
My daughter had COVID and she has lung disease. I started to panic, you know, and pacing and please, oh my God, I started feeling all that anxiety I hadn't felt in a long time. And I heard him say, practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, you're right. And I'll be honest with you, I went to the worst case scenario. What if she may die? She may get so sick she dies. And you know for a fact, Linda, that there is no such thing as death.
Right.
So it's really funny because I was on Mel's show and someone said, my sister was found dead. She'd been dead for 2 days. And I could hear the sister, she was alone, you know, and I heard the sister say, I wasn't alone. She immediately exited stage left. She wasn't laying there dead going, woe is me, please. Oh no, they were right there for her.
Right. I believe that too. And then she went, I always emphasize to people like they feel bad. It's like, no, they went when they were ready to go.
Yeah.
Whether
as
you
terrible as it is, because look at all those poor people just now.
Yep.
Shot in
Ukraine.
It's horrible. Oh, by the way, the news just announced that they have satellite images of Russia doing this.
Yeah. Well, I hope
Russia have not already gone. Russia was there shooting those people. He's trying to act like one mass. Yes, it was. He's going to get in big trouble, mark my words, but this is a different show. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can talk a little about that. Everybody knows about that, but I completely agree with you. I hope they open up an investigation, and I hope that NATO or whoever the world is able to hold him accountable, because that's the only way. Because apparently the Russians are not going to. So
no, and they've gotten away. Somebody on the news this morning said that he's gotten away with everything.
Yep.
If you use gas or whatever they did to kill all those people, you know, you're in big trouble. He did it and there was no repercussion.
Yeah, we know that familiar attitude. All right, so here's the third one, and I know you've probably talked a little bit about this, but this might be something new. And the third question is, what was your most painful lesson? You know, that always brings us to the light.
That nobody is perfect. That just because someone's a parent doesn't mean they're going to be nurturing. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean they're going to love you back. You know, you cannot never push yourself onto or expect things of others. You have to take care of things yourself. There's no such thing as, you know, you're my daughter and you have to stand up to you have to do, no, Each person has their own free will. That was probably the hardest. And the hardest thing too was letting go of that ego of mine. I had me a big old ass ego and it did me no good. So my feelings would get hurt easy. You know, I would really take, you know, like, you know, how people like to criticize you even when if you're more in the public eye, I would take it hard. And you know what? I finally just said, enough, I'm done, whatever. I don't wish them ill or anything. I just don't care anymore.
I get that too. Sometimes I have really, really good months going on. Everything's, and then there's that one day that I was just low. It's almost like I was in the gutter that day. Somebody said something bad and I go, "Ah!" And then I go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm in the gutter. That's the reason why it's bothering me.
That's why, you can't phobic about comments. And that's why I hire someone to go through my comments and get rid of the ones he knows that I wouldn't be happy with. So I never see them. But I really enjoy the groups of people involved in this. It's wonderful. So, my lesson was learning to step down from my ego. That's extremely hard to do because that ego is the thing that talks to you all the time.
Correct. I think
look at poor Will Smith.
Yeah.
Look what he did. And God, Chris Rock. I mean, my God, what he just handled it. But Will Smith has messed himself up.
Yeah, he has a self-saboteur.
Yeah.
Somewhere in his chart, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But he'll 3 or 4 years from now, nobody will remember.
Yeah, he'll rally.
Yeah, he'll all come around. Mostly
because Chris Rock isn't going to hold him to task.
No.
He's over it already.
Yeah, it's almost like he understood for some reason.
Well, his tour wasn't sold out. And after this, he sold out in New York Minute.
Well, good for him.
He showed class. Exactly. That's like the judge that's, by the way, going to get into the Supreme Court. She just I couldn't even look. Ted Cruz and today with the confirmation hearings. Big old poster about child pornography with his acting like he's a professor. Those people are getting ready to get knocked off.
Yeah. Well, what they're doing, the unfortunate part is they do not have enough white prejudiced people to vote for them anymore.
No.
And they're getting rid of everything else, anything possible that could have ever joined up with you. You do not have enough white prejudiced people to vote for you anymore.
Now, people want, like the ETs, they're not going to come in and help us with this war because they said we're too uncivilized. It's not just the United States, it's everywhere. So
I agree. There was something about the ETs that I had to download probably about 3 weeks ago that they are trying to get our vibration up to theirs because they cannot. It's like too much of a gap, and that's the reason why everything. But
remember, they can't do anything. We are humans on Earth that have free will. Vibrationally, if we get to a higher realm, they can contact, and they've had a lot of contact with a lot of people. I've had one that I could see as plain as day, and he talked to me. And there's some that aren't that great, but there's some that are so connected to the realm. It's amazing. And there's a lot of people on Earth who were on other worlds too. That was fascinating.
Yes. I think there's a lot of people who are the humans that are here right now who have been up there and they have come down. So exactly. It's so complicated, but I get the same feeling like it's like, come on, keep on, close this gap so that we can all become one. I just had that feeling, whether it's true or not. That's what I had. All right. So number 4, what was your most joyous lesson?
The power of something outside myself, the knowing beyond a reasonable doubt that there are those that love you on the other side and want to help you. I've had such miracles happen in my life. I mean, when that event happened with me, where I gave my life over, when they said, "What are you doing? There's no such thing as death," because I was praying for my life. And I had the smell of the earth on my hands. Well, my native family says this, the earth smell is healing. So I probably, because I had a good cancer. I had a proper cancer.
Oh.
And so what it did was I spontaneously healed. So that knowing that power, that absolute overwhelming love, that's the happiest moment. I was Zooming for 2 days. I'd never been so happy. I was happy about the birth of my children and all kinds of human things. But let me tell you, if you step outside that realm for a minute, oh my gosh, it's wonderful.
I agree. It's that knowing that you're connected and you didn't have to do anything to be connected, really.
Right.
Like
and
it
it's
was
also
there.
it's also not getting too riled up in the details of what's going on. Because I was praying so hard for Ukraine, praying so hard to where it was hurting. My body was hurting, my head was hurting. And that's not really the appropriate way to pray. You have to hand it over and say fair. So even with all the terrible, know that this too shall pass. And this is all part of a purpose. And things will get better. But the mass amount of people praying and wanting things to be okay, it's wonderful.
I agree. I believe in critical mass. I believe in one idea is going to take over.
Even China right now, they're working against a big communist group of Chinese that are all for Russia. They said, no, we're not going to get involved with that.
Yes, I agree with that. And the most joyous lessons that we have is the knowing that we're connected and we didn't have to rise to the occasion to be connected. That's the best part. That is the best part. Okay, number 5 is, how do you receive your information from spirit? A lot of people have different ways of explaining it. How do you receive it?
Okay, can you repeat that again?
The question is, how do you receive your information from spirit? If you could put it in text of how to explain how you are hearing it, feeling it, how it's coming through, where does it come through?
They talk to me in my right ear.
So you like hear it verbally.
Verbally. I get a man that talks to me in my right ear. And then sometimes I just know it. I can feel it. Well, I don't know if you saw the video I did in my backyard. All of a sudden, I just got an overwhelming feeling of something major was going to happen. And that was right before Russia hit Ukraine.
Oh.
And I said there was going to be blood. I saw blood. I saw reporters dying. I saw a ship on fire. I said, this is terrible, terrible. But spirit was letting me know, tell everybody to hold on to their hat because things are getting ready to get ugly.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. I don't have the audio, but I understand. But I watch you and all of a sudden you will like look up.
That's what people say. We can tell, Linda, when you're looking up.
When you look up.
All of a sudden, like that time I predicted Beto. And then as I'm doing the cards, my guide said, no, sorry, Linda, he's not going to win. And I was like, what? And I looked up at everybody. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Beto's not going to do it this time. I was like shocked because they interrupted me and told me, just like that time I was reading from Angel Heart, and they interrupted me and they told me there's going to be a really nasty virus coming out.
Yeah.
And I see everybody wearing masks. And I said it and I was like, okay, you happy? And I went on with my, but they wanted everybody to know.
Exactly. And I love how your guides just get your attention. You know, you don't even, it's like it's almost like they lovingly take your jaw and get your attention, like pay attention.
They're like, hey, listen up. How you going to get fired on your day off?
That's right. All right. So the other one is, what is your idea of a higher power or God?
Of a higher power? It's an omnipresent.
Or God.
Well,
or
it's not, it's
spirit.
no man sitting on a throne. It's actually light. It's a beautiful light. In fact, people will say, what's my guide's name? Sometimes I can feel like ancestors that are following others or past life energy. But the actual guides, the spiritual ones, are pure light. They look like those things out of Cocoon, that movie Cocoon. Yep. They're of human form, but they're light. So there is no, it's a vibrational, high pitched, high energy, and it's constantly going. And the most important thing for those of us on earth is the free will aspect. But we're all trying to get our souls higher and higher because we want to be totally connected to this realm. But it's not judgmental. It's omnipresent. It's beautiful.
Correct. I just had a reading with somebody who was talking to me and explaining my guides. And the one thing that really stood out to me was, like, Sheila, we place male and female genders on our guides, but truthfully, there isn't one. And I went, that's the reasoning for the transition that we're going through right now, is to acknowledge there is no gender.
Yeah.
I thought
there really isn't. You know, even the tribe, like on native tribes, there was male natives that wanted to be female. They took on the female realm, and the vice versa, and gay couples and everything else in tribes. They never made a big deal out of it.
No,
Everybody could do as they wanted to do.
that's true. I was taught through the Native Americans that they considered them spiritual teachers because they can see both sides of the realm.
Yeah,
That's how I was taught with that. So
that's wonderful.
all right. So the seventh one, this is the last. Well, last, and then I'm going to ask you to do something else. Hang on a second.
Okay.
But the last question
Sing
is
a song in honor of somebody.
well, I was going to have you. Well, we could if we really.
No.
If you had only 5 minutes to help somebody spiritually, what would you say?
Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way.
And
That's
how would
what
you?
I have people who are so overwhelmed and upset and sobbing and oh my God, their life is over with. It's like, you know what? You need to breathe and you need to get out of your own way. Hand it over. There's always something there for you. The realm is more than happy to help you out. But we always think, you know, we're on our own and we have all these preconditions about way our friends or our family or spouses treated us, you know, that we're not worthy. Yeah, you are. You're worthy, and get out of your own way.
I agree.
You've got to allow them to work through you, and especially in your saddest moments is when they're really waiting, just like this. Any minute now, hopefully that, you know, I've read stories about real bad drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
One guy, he was in the shower and he was sobbing and he knew he couldn't survive this, and boom, the light came over him. And then that moment, his whole life changed.
I completely agree. If there was any evidence of getting out of your own way and allowing spirit to take over and help you out is through alcoholics and drug addicts. I completely agree.
Yeah.
You know, getting out of your own way. Somebody was explaining it to me as well. It's like you can understand, you'll relate to this in cooking. Like you can put all the ingredients in a bowl, mix it up, put it in a bowl, and then you put it in the oven. You cannot get in that oven and make sure that bread is going to cook. You have to let it go. You cannot get in there and mix it up. You have done all that you can. Now let God take care of it.
It's like parents with children.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of parents that, like this one family, you know, oh, well, they had a lot of money. Well, you know, she wants to be in the arts, and we've said, you've got to be a lawyer or something, and, you know, and then you can do this. And I said, you know what, if you renege her ability to at least tap her toe into this realm of new possibilities, then she's always going to resent you for it. Like my father said, I don't want you to be a nurse because they're changing bedpans. You can't be I wanted to be an actress. You can't do this. You can't do that. I want you to be a teacher. Well, that's the last thing I wanted to be. So I didn't really pursue anything until finally I was alone with my daughter, and him and my mother supported me and said, okay, if you want to go to nursing school, go to nursing school. But I wasted a lot of years before then. But you got to do your realm of what you need to do. And don't, just because you've got the identification parent, you got to allow free will.
You're a busy girl. Is that you?
Yeah.
Well, we have one more question here, or one last thing is, you know, when we did that energy towards Ukraine, I went back and watched it, and I realized that Linda didn't say anything. And I'm like, oh no. So I wanted an opportunity for you.
What do you mean? Was it on my show or?
No, it was on mine, where everybody was giving their last words and last statements. And I realized, but you were also busy. You had some contractors that were there and available. You were
probably interrupted my ability.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you a final opportunity. Not final, but, you know, an opportunity, some final words for Ukraine and for the Ukraine people. I think your profound wisdom will truly travel long distances.
Oh, thanks. But I ain't all that.
Well,
but I will tell you that they're going to be just fine. I do see that Isn't that funny how Zelensky won on Dancing with the Stars, and now he's like one of the greatest human beings? Oh, you don't think that makes Putin upset?
Oh, I'm sure that it does.
He's adored. He's adored. I don't need a ride. I need weapons.
Yep. Oh, I love that.
I know. So, and I'll tell you who loves him is Biden. Biden loves him. They are, because you remember, he's the one that just couldn't lie about Hunter Biden. Just couldn't do it. And I remember liking him back then. Damn, even though they're giving you this hard time, you're not going to lie.
Yep. I remember that too. He came hot, he like skirted around it. He knew the politics of it, but he still wasn't going to do it.
Wasn't going to do it. He just couldn't. He couldn't out and out lie. Yeah. So, but the Ukraine is going to be fine. That's Zelensky. They're going to be statues about him.
Yep.
He just feels that if anybody, you talk about it being written out for him in this realm, he's doing his duty and he's doing it well.
Yeah, I did have a remote on him as well, and I saw him with his people hand in hand circled up, and they're all like, we've made it through. And then the rebuild, like, okay, well, let's now step into
they're going to rebuild. You know what? Did you see thousands of Ukrainians are coming back to Ukraine?
Oh, I haven't. If it all happened today, I have not been able to get onto
the news. They were showing the newscast person was saying normally people are coming this way into Poland. They were going the other way. They want to go look for their families.
Fantastic.
God bless them all.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Thank you, Linda, so much. I appreciate your channel, and I appreciate the fact that you and I have, I don't know, can we call each other friendship?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're all part of this beautiful group of wonderful people. And they just keep popping up. I'm like, who's that? All of a sudden a new person's up. So everybody's wanting to do the work. And everybody speaks their own language.
Correct.
There's some people who may like me, but they prefer someone else. That's fine. Just as long as you're standing in the realm of all possibilities, just as long as if there's anything that I can tell people is that you're not alone. And that which is likened to itself is drawn. You cannot create what you want unless you're vibrationally the same match. And to do that, you got to get out of your own way and let them handle it for you.
Oh, if the truer words. And I'm like, don't manifest nothing while you're in the gutter. Yeah, exactly.
Where's my tambourine? Shoot.
Yeah, I can handle that. I can put
I got my crown. That's what I'm talking
about. Oh, you have your tiara.
Girls in the house.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for your great words. And I hope everybody has enjoyed this. If you've made it this far, make sure, if you don't know who Linda is, go subscribe. I don't know who doesn't, but that 1% of person that could be. And definitely subscribe here as continuing on. I know that we're going to do a collaboration with Lena sometime in the future again. So there's that. So you don't miss that. And thank you so much.
I love me some Lena.
Yeah, me too. She's clever, and I love that about her.
Cool. All right, thank you. Bye, you guys.